Hey everybody, I'm Josh. Thank you. On the show today, we're going to talk about organization. This is Shit Talkin'. That's right. So this week we'll start our series on little-known holidays that are from the website that I found over our 2-week break called holidayinsights.com. The link will be in the description below. Be sure to check them out. I'll be referencing them all season long. It's holidayinsights.com. This week, starting tomorrow, today's Saturday, starting tomorrow, we will be celebrating Get Organized Week. So I have a segment to show you tips on how to help yourself get organized and a segment on how not to help yourself get organized. We are also going to play a fun drinking game, or what I think is going to be fun. That's right, we're going to play a drinking game. Every time, and this is how full my bottle is right now, every time I do a mess up and have to start over, I'm going to take a drink. But at the end of each show, if I get to the end, I'm going to show how much is left, and we'll see what happens. So, wish me luck. It should be some fun. Yeah. Anyway, I want to say thank you to everyone that reached out and wished me a happy birthday. That really meant a lot. My mom and I spent the morning together. She just had a back procedure done, so she can't drive. And so she made an appointment to get a manicure. And I took her. We ended up going a couple places and spending some time together. So it was fun. And then we went to their house for a cookout that night. That was a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody for everything, especially my family. I love you guys. It was a really good birthday until a certain point that I will get into a little later. But yeah. So, other than what I'm going to talk to you about later, my birthday was a great birthday. So, anyway, moving right along, it's time for yet another cheesy monologue. During the pandemic and quarantine, it's been reported that people gained a lot of weight, which they're now calling, instead of the freshman 15, the quarantine 15. If you ask me, I don't have a beer belly. It's a protective layer for my hardcore abs. They're just being protected. I was considering doing a cooking segment this season, but when I read a recipe, it was like when I read a sci-fi novel. I get to the end, it was like, yeah, that's never going to happen. A friend of mine started doing yoga every day. To say she does it every day, though, is quite a stretch. The other day I was at home and I thought to myself, I have some growing up to do. And then I went back in my fort. A recent study shows that a clear conscience is just another way of saying you have bad memory. They say letting go of a loved one is hard to do until you get into a rock climbing catastrophe. Having a positive attitude may not always solve your problems, but annoying enough people will definitely make it worth it. Here's this week's point to ponder. You don't need a parachute to go skydiving, but you need a parachute to go skydiving twice. Isn't it odd the way that everyone automatically assumes that the goo in soap dispensers is soap? One of these times I'd like someone to put like mustard in one, just to teach everybody a lesson. What's the difference between a northern fairy tale and a southern fairy tale? A northern fairy tale begins with once upon a time. A southern fairy tale begins with, y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. Because I hit the wrong button. There we go. And finally, people sometimes tell me that I have an attitude problem. Let's be real here. You just have a perception problem. So, we have, hold on, I have to scroll to the beginning of my page. There we go. A celebrity is attacked with violence jaywalking. though stupid, is still illegal, even for a vice president of a major brand. But it may not just be the jaywalking he was stopped for. These stories and more in this edition of Table Talk. Rick Moranis. Sorry, I'm a little slow tonight. Rick Moranis got punched to the head during an unprovoked attack, but the suspect was busted on video. Now cops are trying to search for him. Law enforcement told TMZ that the Ghostbusters and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids star was walking in Central Park on Thursday in Manhattan when out of nowhere a man in an I Love New York hoodie unleashed a violent punch, knocking Moranis down hard. Rick had no time to react to the attack, almost as frightening. The attacker calmly continues to walk away while Rick Moranis is laying on the ground writhing in pain. Cops say Moranis filed a police report and went to the hospital for evaluation. He told the doctors he was suffering from pain in his head, back, and right hip, as first reported by WCBS. Cops are now looking for the attacker, and there is a $2,500 reward if you lead to the arrest and indictment of the suspect. A shoe designer, Salahi Bembury, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, got stopped by the police in Beverly Hills after shopping at a store where he works. And he says that it reeks of racial profiling. Bembury, VP of sneakers and men's footwear at Versace, shared a video Thursday night of his encounter with two Beverly Hills cops, which he called frightening and unjustified. The cops allegedly stopped and searched Salahi after he left the Versace store with a bag of goods he purchased. He suggests that he got hassled because he's black, but one of the officers in the video denies that and says Bembury is changing the story. After checking his ID and determining that he has a clean record, the officers did let him go. Salahi later claimed that he just left the store and was walking to his car when a patrol car pulled up. He says it was startling, especially because the cops quickly jumped out and confronted him over jaywalking. Bembury claims that he told the cops he wasn't aware that he had jaywalked, but they stopped him, patted him down, and took his phone. That's when he says he asked to have it back in order to record the incident. Bembury insists that he did nothing to warrant the police harassing him, despite the cops claiming otherwise. TMZ reached out to the Beverly Hills Police Department, but has not heard back. President Trump has finally said the words he failed to say at the debate. I condemn all white supremacists. Trump called in to his friend Sean Hannity and his Fox News show on Thursday to talk about his performance at the first debate versus Joe Biden, and tried to put the Proud Boys controversy to rest. He said, quote, "Let me be clear. Again, I condemn the KKK. I condemn all white supremacists. I condemn the Proud Boys," end quote. Trump reinsisted that he doesn't know much about the Proud Boys hate group, but he is against what they do. This, of course, is in stark contrast to his response 48 hours earlier when debate moderator Chris Wallace asked him to denounce white supremacy. Instead, he told the Proud Boys to, quote, "stand back and stand by," end quote. On Wednesday, while talking to the press at the White House about the outrage, he claimed he denied knowledge of the Proud Boys and again danced around a flat-out denouncement of the white supremacy. Interestingly, when Trump spoke to Hannity, it was about 6:30 p.m., 90 minutes after he had learned his aide, Hope Hicks, tested positive for COVID-19, but before his test results were back. He did discuss having to go into quarantine, but only after addressing the debates and white supremacy. The president also went to his regular playbook and called out Biden, saying Joe needs to condemn Antifa and his history on race issues. It has since been reported that Donald Trump and his wife, Melania, both tested positive with President Trump in the hospital. And that's all I know. I know there was an update, a press briefing today on his condition, and I heard he's coming along very well, according to his doctor. So I despise the man. Everybody knows that. But I would never wish him ill, and I know that this is a scary disease. And so I do wish the best for him. I hope he comes out of this okay. And I still don't like you, but I hope that you're okay and can continue to run our country. Anyway. Last but not least, a self-described redneck who supports Donald Trump says there's a war coming in November, no matter who wins. But if Biden does, he's threatening to start it. And that's raised some alarm bells with authorities. In the video spreading like wildfire on social media, a bearded man ID'd as Zachary Poole makes it clear he believes Trump 2020 will prevail on Election Day, but predicts members of Black Lives Matter and Antifa will try to start a new war when that happens. Poole insists that his people are ready for this, but if things don't go their way and Trump loses, he warns, quote, "We comin' and we comin' strong," end quote. Law enforcement sources told TMZ that the video was almost immediately reported to the Williamsburg Village Police Department in Ohio, along with concerned citizens forwarding it to the FBI. It's being taken very seriously. TMZ was told Poole's online posts and social media are being monitored by the police, though no official investigation has been launched nor charges filed. TMZ says that Williamsburg police have contacted the FBI about the video because they feel Poole's words can be perceived as a threat against people of different races and religions, and that the feds have more experience in hate crimes. The timing of this video is interesting as well, as it comes on the heels of President Trump's ominous message to the far-right group, Proud Boys, during his first debate. The speculation Poole might be affiliated with the group, but we're told that that the law enforcement could not confirm that, as still in the early stages of the investigation. Scary, excuse me. No, I didn't mess up, I just wanted a drink. Anyway, moving along. So last week I mentioned that we were celebrating Get Organized Week. And what better way to celebrate by helping all of you with some easy-to-do life hacks in this week's edition of You're a Hack. This is one of my biggest problems. My earrings. I mean, I cannot keep them together. So, one easy thing you guys can do, they're cheap and you can find them anywhere. Buy some ice cube trays and start putting them in ice cube trays. I heard that it's hard, like, finding a back of a earring is, quote, a bitch. A lot of people tell me. But I always, like, I'm the type of person, though, if you give me a chain necklace and it tied up in a knot, I can get it out. Like, I can do stuff like that really well. But anyway. Next hack, here we go. Are you the type of person, I'm on the OCD edge, I guess you could say. Though my house nor car, could you tell by looking at them? Anyway, and so, like, when I have a measuring cup, I have to have them sitting on top of each other, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, and then you lose them, and here's an interesting way to keep track of them. Get some corkboard, put it on the back of on the inside of a cupboard door, and use it to hang them from. I thought that was pretty neat. This one I do anyway. I just don't have the container, but I have a bag, an old grocery bag in my car for garbage. But another quick, easy thing you can do, and their containers are cheap to buy, get a cereal pouring container and use that for your garbage. The only thing is if you had like a to-go box, because you're driving long distance and you're driving, so you can't open that small hole and put it in there. So that's the only disadvantage I would see about that. This next one is, again, one of my big problems. My necklaces. Anyway, if they all get tangled up, what you can do is buy some cheap shower curtain hooks. I hate it when my necklaces get all tangled up. The next one is actually one a friend of mine did quite a while ago. I just found the picture and thought I'd share it with you. If are you like any other family in the entire world and lose the remote controls all the time? Well, get some Velcro, put one end on each remote, and then put the other end on the side of a table, and you can hang them up. All right, my sister, one of my sisters, has her own place. She's a single. So she's got like a 3-bedroom, I think, house, and one of her rooms is a guest room. The other room, I kid you not, is a shoe room. She has it set up like a shoe store, which it's really cool. Anyway, so this is some advice she could use. Use pant hangers to help you hang boots from. Save some space in your closet. Pretty cool hack. Okay, I am a guy, obviously. And I do my hair, but I don't have a lot of product. I used to do a lot of product in my hair, but I don't. So this one wouldn't be for me. But like I said, I am kind of an organized freak. And this is a really clever idea. Get a wine rack to put your hairspray and gel and all that kind of containers in to help organize your vanity. Pretty nifty. Especially if you have like an apartment so you can't really pick out a medicine cabinet that would fit it all or something like that. You know what I mean? So, or jail. I don't know. Anyway. Again, one of my biggest problems. I hate it when I lose my bobby pins. My hair, I apparently don't wear one anymore because my hair keeps coming down. Anyway, I'm kidding. I never wore one. But if you start losing them, there's 2 things you can do. One of them I don't have a picture of, and it's just put a magnetic strip like on the side of the drawer, and clip them to it, or get a Tic Tac container and put them in there. Here's the last one, and I'm sorry, it's not the last one. If you are the type of person you like to hang everything up, I hang almost all of my shirts up. Like my undershirts, I don't hang up; they go in the drawer, and it takes up a lot of room in the closet. Here's an idea to help you: get some shower curtain rings, and use those. That way, they don't take up a hanger. My problem is that I use a belt a lot, and I'm pulling up my pants with the belt loops, and I break them a lot. Anyway. And finally, for this segment, another way for you to help save space in the closet, use a soda tab to be able to hook another hanger onto. Learn something new every day. My next segment are ways that, everybody tries to do their own work, and I get that. I get it. You save money on labor and stuff. I understand. But I at least know what I can't do. And for those of you that don't know what you can't do, we have an amazing segment I call Oops. Here we go. First up, I highly, 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 highly do not recommend this whatsoever. I don't care what the circumstances are. I do not recommend this. I have always said, and I will never deny that I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer all the time. But I don't think this, I want to say something's wrong here. Sorry, that's my dog snoring. Anyway. Okay, if you're a professional painter, what is one thing that you would almost always think about when you're painting something like a deck. Always leave yourself a path, right? Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers. Okay, when you're working on a project, one thing I always recommend is for everybody to start at one end and work your way over. First of all, I don't want to say it's lazy. Yeah, it works really well most of the time when you start on both ends and meet in the middle. Except right here. Something's a little off. Next up, I would love to be the person that lives in this house. And anytime I order food from somewhere, tell them to go up the spiral staircase to nowhere. I'm just kind of evil. I don't know about you, but in this situation, I would not be chivalrous. And I would not say ladies first. Just me. I mean, maybe you want to see someone fall on their butt. Especially if it's me, because I do it a lot. Anyway. I don't care how strong you are. I don't do the trust test with anyone. I don't trust people very well. I definitely wouldn't trust somebody to do this. There is a guy on the ladder up top by the windows. Follow the ladder down, and it's just literally just someone holding that person up. If he even scratches his nose, that guy is fallen. I would never wish upon anyone to be handicapped whatsoever, but this ramp looks a little fun. Maybe it's the Daredevil ramp. I don't know. I think this bank is prejudiced against short people. We've got to stop the hate. And finally, this picture was a long time too early, but now I understand with social distancing. It's pretty smart. Pretty smart. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, and whew, okay. First of all, let me say thank you for watching. It really means a lot. Again, thank everybody for the birthday wishes. If you see something funny that you think I should know, or if you think I should see, please send it to me. Here's all of my social media accounts. Earlier, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but it's been really hard for me. Earlier, I mentioned that I had a really good birthday, except for one part of it. And let me take you back to last week. Monday, I worked. Tuesday, I was off on Tuesday, and I filmed all day. And I finally got the show posted at night, but I started filming around 2 o'clock. And it was filming practically all night. And you know how you get the feeling all of a sudden everything's going great, and you get the feeling all like just a rush of dread over your body. That happened to me, and I couldn't figure out why all of a sudden I just wasn't in the mood to do anything. I didn't want to film. I didn't want to watch TV. I didn't want to play my Nintendo Switch. I didn't want anything. I just wanted to lay in bed, and I was hyper and working on the show and being fine. And then all of a sudden, just changed. So Wednesday comes along. I go to do my birthday thing. I go to my parents' cookout. I come home. I'm looking on Facebook, and a friend of mine who was a couple years older than my sister let me stop right there, and then I'm going to kind of start another story. So, and you'll see, they'll merge together. Don't worry. So when I started at Double A's, the sports bar that I was manager of the front of house, I had so many great kids, so many high schoolers that they were great workers. They worked hard, and they made my job as a manager really easy. I never really had an issue with them. And my first day on the job, I am sitting, I walk into the building, and it was my first day out of training, and I wanted to sit down with each individual host and just kind of introduce myself, give them my work experience so they knew that I had experience in restaurants and in management, and that I wasn't like just some Joe Blow off the street that didn't know what I was doing. So my first day, I am sitting there, and I'm talking to this kid named Ben. And Ben was in high school. He was 16 when I started there. And he had glasses, and nothing wrong with glasses. I have glasses. But, like, he just looked very shy and timid. And so when we were sitting down, you guys know me, I keep notes of everything. So I had like talking points that I wanted to convey to every employee when I sat with them. And Ben he was kind of going like this as I was talking to him every now and then. And I was like, whatever, maybe he's just intent on my piece of paper. I don't know. And then he's like, are we done? Like, are you done? I'm like, yeah. At first, I guess, I can't remember when it was, but I asked him if he had any questions for me. He's like, can I see that paper? And I'm like, okay. And he just kind of starts looking at it like he's never seen paper before. And I am just, like, bewildered. I would love to have seen my own face when he was doing this. And then, all of a sudden, he grabs the piece of paper, bites the corner of the paper off, chews the paper, and then swallows it. And I must have had this dumbfounded look on my face or something, because we got up from the table and I was like, okay, you can go ahead and go bust that table, I guess. And I went up to the host stand, and I can't remember who I was working with, who the other host was, but it wasn't my first, yeah, it was my first shift, it was my first day. No, but she was one of them that were there during my training. She was very helpful during my training. And so I was just kind of like, she's like, what? I said, I have no idea what just happened there. And I told her what happened. She's like, oh, that's just Ben. That's our Ben. Like, he's just crazy like that. And throughout my time working there, he and I had kind of grew a strong bond. And I looked at him as my little brother. And so I'm looking on Facebook, and my sister, and come to find out, while we were working together, we realized that him and his sister worked there, and their mother was one of my sister's high school friends. And so we had that kind of, like, I guess, helped firm the bond. I don't know. Anyway, I looked at him like my little brother, and Wednesday night after my birthday parties, I'm sitting looking at Facebook, and his mom had posted that Ben was killed in a car accident. And I'm sorry that my show wasn't funny tonight. I really tried to do my best. I have a script written about what I wanted to say here, but I'm just kind of going off the cuff because I want to say it from my heart, not from a script. And I just feel like I lost my brother. He was a good kid. He tried to stay out of trouble. I mean, if he just had a smile that literally took up his entire face. And if you were in a bad mood, you wouldn't be after you were working with him. And it's no, I mean, it was a joke. Well, I think it was a joke. While I was working there, that Ben was my favorite, and it's no secret Ben was my favorite. I mean, he knew how to make you smile. He knew just the right thing to say at the right time. And his sense of humor is unmatchable. It's undescribable. I can't, I mean, besides explaining to you how the story I just told you about him eating a piece of paper, if that doesn't tell you the kind of person he was, then I don't know how else to tell you about Ben. Ben, you were like my little brother. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss our late night calls, and I know I would get mad when you'd call me. But you woke me up, bro. Like, no, I'm kidding. I didn't care, or I wouldn't have told you to keep calling me. And there was I forgot to grab him, but there was a night where we were at work, and a couple nights actually, where he was just kind of up there doodling, and I went up there and I saw him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just doodling," and was telling me how they weren't any good, and he was getting ready to throw them away, and I said, "Don't." I said, "Sign them. I will hang them up in my house on my refrigerator." And it kind of became a running joke that anytime one of my hosts made something, I would hang it up on my refrigerator, which it really was my cupboard in my house. But they are still hanging up there right now, and I'm going to be giving them to his family. But Ben, I'm going to miss you. You were really a great kid. You knew how to make everyone smile. And there was never a day where you wouldn't work in a bad mood. I'm sorry, I've never seen you work in a bad mood. You always just kind of shrugged things off, and nothing bothered you, and I'm going to miss you. I know that you're a chess genius, and I know that you're just up there waiting in line to play chess with Bobby Fischer, and I hope that you do someday. You will not be forgotten. You are probably the closest thing to a brother that I will ever have, and I will really miss you, buddy. Thanks for what little time we got to spend together, and I know that, like I said, I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason, and I just want to say that you were brought into my life for a reason. You were taken from us too early for a reason, and we may not know what that is right now. We may never know what that is, but there's a reason for everything, and I'm just babbling now. Normally when I do a show, all of a sudden it's like, boom, I'm at the end. Okay, great, I'm done. But now it's like I didn't want this part of the show to come. I knew I was going to get emotional. I'm sorry. Again, Ben, I love you, bro. You were, like I said, the closest thing to a brother that I will ever have. And we had that brotherly joking back and forth all the time, except for that time when you were calling me Dad, which is kind of weird. But anyway, but I'm glad I could give you some advice on the things that we talked about, and they'll always be right here. I will never forget our topics, which it was, you could not, if you walked in on a Ben and I conversation, you'd be like, are you two insane? But anyway, so I'm going to end now. I'm sorry for babbling. I'm sorry for getting upset. If any of you guys watching this know Ben, and there is a memorial page that you can find through my Facebook page if you personally know me. If you don't know it, please email the show, and I will definitely put you on there. Or you can just leave a comment below or email me a story that you have if you knew Ben. He was a great kid. And I want to send my deepest thoughts, my prayers, my condolences to his family and all of his friends, because he had friends everywhere. And if I end the show, I feel like that's my saying goodbye, and I don't want to say goodbye. Goodbyes are never easy. But anyway, okay, I'm going to end the show. So, yeah. Please keep his family, everybody, please keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. Until next time, everybody, please stay safe, stay healthy, stop the hate, and come back anytime you need some shit talking.